Hi, my name is Rick Howell. I'm a TV guy, and this show is called Talk Back to Television. It's about the business of television, how we make the programs, how we distribute the programs, and mostly how we pay for the programs. Because if we can't pay for the shows, there's nothing to watch. Stay tuned. Good morning. This is Talk Back to Television, and I'm here with Ethan Heftman, who is Chief Revenue Officer of Ampersand. Ethan, how are you?
I'm great. Good morning, Rick. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you are talking to us from someplace with a lot of traffic in the background. What is that?
I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I'm actually New York-based. Ampersand is based in New York City, but we've got offices all over the country, a big one here in Los Angeles, and I'm with our teams here today.
Cool. All right. So tell us what Ampersand is, how it works, who owns it, and all like such as that.
Absolutely. So Ampersand is a joint venture of Comcast, Charter, and Cox.
Okay.
What we do is we play a really important role in unifying the individual footprints of those MVPDs along with affiliate MVPDs, that is MVPDs that are not owners of Ampersand, but that we are partnered with. And we unify those regional footprints into a larger collective for the benefit of national advertisers, for the benefit of multi-market advertisers, fundamentally so that the customer doesn't have to make multiple phone calls to access the value of each MVPD's footprint. They can call Ampersand.
Okay. Now, a number of years ago, in a market like Chicago, there might have been a co-op of sorts that had some Comcast, and I think at one point there was AT&T there, and God knows who all else. And technically you were competing, but in reality, you were working together because in the world of cable, nobody plays in anybody else's sandbox. If
That's
it's
exactly
me
right.
on South Main Street, it's you on North Main Street, and I'm a Comcast and you're a Cox, and we can do that all together. And so is Ampersand basically a stretched out national version of that?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. There's a lot more to Ampersand than that, which I can talk about. But what you're referring to is the interconnect model, which is how local cable television grew and scaled into the size and scope that it is today. And Ampersand, when we were known as NCC, was the engine by which that occurred. And we remain the unification engine for the MVPDs as they move their businesses beyond just local cable into addressability, into streaming, into all the areas that the MVPDs are in. Ampersand remains the front door for advertisers who want to reach across MVPDs.
Okay, now I had my friend David Klein, and he and I worked together, believe it or not, in the last century at Showtime. And he pointed out that you bought some of his inventory. Is that
so? David actually is a board member of Ampersand. David's company, Spectrum Reach, which is Charter, is an equity owner of Ampersand. David sits on our board, and we do not buy their inventory. They make their inventory available to us as a direct extension of their sales force efforts.
Okay, so he might have guys calling on a Ford dealership in Los Angeles for Charter, but when it comes to calling on Ford corporate, in rough terms, it would go through you, right?
You got it. That's exactly right.
Okay. Tell me how addressability plays into Ampersand.
Yeah, so Ampersand is on behalf of our 3 owner MVPDs, as well as 2 affiliate MVPDs. That would specifically be Verizon and Altice. We are the largest household addressable footprint covering the linear and the streaming marketplaces in the United States. We have an ability to reach 64 million homes through both linear ad delivery and streaming ad delivery, courtesy of the MVPDs that make up our footprint. If they are delivering an ad into the home, whether it's through a linear set-top box, whether it's through a watch app, whether it's through fast inventory or AVOD inventory, if they're able to reach a home with an ad message, Ampersand can utilize that inventory and reach that individual home that the advertiser is focused on. And then what we do is we have the viewership data coming back from those set-top boxes through that cable into the home. And so we can provide attribution. We can provide more than just an impression type of delivery.
Right.
We can tell you who was reached, how that reach is incremental to other reach that you might have with a more broad-based buy. And we are turning addressability into as much a fundamental part of the MVPD offering as geo-targeting is and used to be.
Okay, now there was a time, and I think it probably wasn't that long ago, where the technical specs for a Comcast and a Charter might not have been the same. Cox might not have been the same. Verizon absolutely not the same. And Altice had a little red fire engine. They did everything their own way. Has that standardized a bit? If I'm Ford and I'm coming in, can I give you one spot and one work order and you're off to the races?
You can. That is the benefit of Ampersand. That was the promise of Ampersand when we unified the 5 MVPD addressable footprints, and that is what we deliver on a daily basis to our clients.
How big a universe can you deliver?
So we have 64 million addressable homes. It is the largest footprint in the United States.
I didn't think there were 64 million cable subscribers.
There are still more than 64 million cable subscribers.
Interesting. Now,
yes,
if a DirecTV and Dish wanted to come play along, would you, and subject to the board, of course, would you have that conversation? Have you had that conversation?
DirecTV and Dish are great partners of ours in the sense that we collectively believe that a rising tide of addressability raises all of our boats. So while DirecTV and Dish in the addressable space are their own entities, have their own sales forces, we work together as part of the Go Addressable Consortium, and we are friends in that we believe the intake of addressable advertising, the uptake, of addressable advertising by advertising agencies and by clients benefits us all. Where we go down the road, where they go, is above my pay grade.
I get that. Okay, just let's make sure we understand addressability to the home means that I see a spot that you determine is right for me based on the information you have about me, anonymized on what I watch, what I buy, where I go, all like such as that. And the spot that you deliver to my neighbor is a different spot.
That is exactly right. It is a zero waste advertising delivery vehicle.
That's awesome. Okay.
We like it.
What? Yeah, I think a lot of people in our universe don't necessarily understand that. Last question now. How does streaming play into that? Because, I mean, do you handle Flex for Comcast and all of that?
So
stuff?
The way you should think about it, and the way the viewer here today should think about it, is that if the MVPD has the ability to serve an ad contractually, Ampersand has that ability as well on behalf of the MVPD. So the MVPDs are actively, rapidly working to make their footprints reflective of modern consumption habits. And modern consumption habits are a combination of linear television and streaming television. The MVPDs source inventory via their carriage negotiations,
Yeah.
and Ampersand is the beneficiary of that inventory supply that we make available to the advertiser.
All right. So the classic model of selling advertising on cable networks was the networks gave you a couple of minutes per hour. And I'm sure that's up and down based on whoever. But now you start saying, okay, well, Comcast is going to plug in Netflix, and Netflix isn't going to just get to ride for free. They're going to give something to that. And so now there's what we used to call local avails, the equivalent of local avails on the streaming channels in a Comcast broadband bundle. Did I say all that right?
You did. It is complex, but that was a good encapsulation of it.
And you make it less complex for the buyer because you can simply say, I got this, and that. You want them all?
There are two fundamental benefits that we believe exist when you work with Ampersand. The first is that we have a bundle of content, both linear and streaming, and we have, on behalf of the MVPDs, the viewership data that comes from a direct subscriber relationship. That is a pretty powerful combination.
That's a great combination. All right. Ethan Heffman, thank you. You have clarified some things for me. I hope you've clarified them for the audience. And now at least some of us know what in the world Ampersand does. So I appreciate it, Bud. Thank you very much.
Rick, I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We're going to sign off, and let's see everybody next week. Bye-bye.